We are getting ready to mix things up tonight. We're recording Friday's podcast, which is going to be a trip report with listener Nikki out north of Philly. So we're going to talk about a great trip to the Poly back in October. It's going to be fun. And then Monday, we're going to have Is This Romantic? So that show went off the rails. It's a total mess, but that's going to be your Monday show. So we're flip-flopping Monday and Friday this week. There will be a quiz, so be ready. All right, so hang out with us for the next 30 minutes, 40 minutes or so. We're going to talk about the Polynesian and lots of fun times in the parks. I see every park mentioned in the notes that are color-coded. I see the Plaza talked about. I see Tusker House. Oh, 50s prime time. I'm glad I ate already. Hit my Taco Bell. Coral Reef, yes. Nice. Oh, Cinderella's Royal Table. We got a lot to talk about. Nice. Oh, Hana. Nice. Okay. All right, let's do this like we've done this before. Hello, Margie and Herschel. Thanks for being here. I love your little avatar with Yoda. That's not baby Yoda. That's old Yoda. That's like senior citizen Yoda right there. All right. Let us get... What number is this? That's one thing I need to know. 2037. Holy casmoli. All right, let me turn my phone off. There we go. My dad will inevitably call every Wednesday. I've done a podcast for 14 years now on Wednesday nights, and my dad is always on Facebook. I'm like, we're on Facebook Live. How do you not? Oh, I forgot to check. And right now he's driving to the Super Bowl so he's probably somewhere in New Mexico. He called me earlier. He's in Texas. I got to turn my phone off because he will call. I know it every week. And no kidding. He calls during the Wednesday show. My dad. Anyway. Okay. So we'll get started and here we go. Welcome to let's try that again. Like I've never done this before. How about saying the word episode, Mike? Here we go. Welcome to episode 2037 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Friday to you. And yes, we're going to rock your world here because one thing we do on the Be Our Guest podcast, a couple things. We're pretty consistent about getting the shows out every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And we try to get you a show on Thursdays when we can, the open lines. But you know that we always do trip reports on Mondays, Wednesdays questions, Fridays panel discussions. But today we're switching it up. Today we're going to do a trip report with a guest because Monday, I don't know if you know, it's pretty important, guys. Monday's Valentine's Day. So that means Sunday night, you'll probably be scrambling up to the CVS or the Walgreens and justifying anything you can find is the most romantic thing ever given to your significant other for Valentine's Day. So just right now, you got like 72 hours. Get out there, get that awesome gift. And then Monday, join us for a Be Our Guest podcast tradition. Ricky and Pam join me and we go over your situations down at Walt Disney World. That's right. Is this romantic? We talk about engagements at the top of Spaceship Earth. Is that romantic? How about if two parents, one has to go get a Dole Whip, one has to go to Citrus Swirl? Is that romantic? We talk about all kinds of this stuff on Monday's show. So join us back there for that. But for right now, we're talking about something that is romantic. We're talking about Disney's Polynesian Resort, a trip down there in October. Listener Nikki is joining us from north of Philadelphia. Nikki, thanks for coming on and joining us for a Friday. This is going to be fun.
It will be. Thank you.
All righty. So before we get cracking here and talking about your trip, and I can't wait to talk about the Poly because awesome. Give us a little background on your Disney fandom. How often do you get to go down and like, where did it all start for you becoming a Disney fan?
Now we go down usually 2 times a year or so, sometimes more. I went down first when I was in 4th grade. Nice. That's when it all started. So, but then we didn't go back down until our honeymoon after that. And then that just sort of took off from there.
So around your house, is it something that you guys talk about Disney a lot? Do you guys have like Disney decorations in the house?
Yes.
You watch like Disney Plus? I mean, you like all that kind of stuff?
There's no subtle touches of Disney in our house.
Very nice. So what's like some of your favorite Disney touches in your home? I love to kind of get a picture of our fans, and of our listeners. Like what what's a snapshot of what your kind of environment looks like as a Disney fan?
Oh, anything we have in our living room has some sort of Disney frames, pillows, blankets. It's all over. Kitchen is red, white, and black throughout. We joke that our sheets have the Epcot Spaceship Earth design on them, not on purpose, but that's how they came. So,
but see, I like that because that's one of those things. It's kind of subtle, what that
yes.
what that references. But somebody could come in and say, "Oh, that's kind of a neat little geometric design on your sheets or on your comforter." But yeah, we get it. And so yeah, I'm one of those people that I always want to buy like the pillows, especially the one that says "Be Our Guest." Ricky's bought it. Pam's got it. Pam Forrester. I've never pulled the trigger on it. You probably have it, right?
No, I don't.
I need that one because of the podcast, but I've always wanted to get stuff like that. The throws. I don't know. We just don't have a lot of Disney in our house, but I wish we had a little bit more. So I'm glad you do. That makes me excited that you have all that.
Yeah.
So in this era of the 50th anniversary of Walt Disney World, you've been going for quite a while. What's something you would bring back if you could bring something back that's gone away over the past few decades?
Oh, I don't even know. I would say that's a tough.
Is there
caught me off guard there?
is there a ride though that you miss, or a fireworks show? I mean, were you a fan?
I would say I grew up with Wishes, so that's probably where my heart goes.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah, because I mean that's a sentimental pick. So
yeah,
gotcha. I'm with you. I'm bring back Spectrum Magic, Wishes, Illuminations, and
yes. My phone ringtone is Spectrum Magic, so I'm there too.
Yes, those, and it was so funny because I remember we first went. I used to make fun of those trumpeters at the very beginning. They were like scary clowns, like nightmare inducing. But man, I would love to have the scary clowns back playing those trumpets right on that first float. It was so great. Anyway, so let's talk about your trip. You guys went down in October, stayed at the Polynesian. So let's kind of let's get the kind of the overview. Who traveled with you, and how did this trip come together? How did you decide to go down in October?
Oh, this was a Christmas present from my in-laws. So it was 12 of us traveling together.
Oh, nice.
So last time we went, there was 11 of us, different group of 11 than this trip. But it was the in-laws were with that time as well. But we went down and it was in September, and we sort of guided them. Let's push it off to October, so it's going to be a little bit cooler because we almost had somebody pass out with the heat in September last trip. So we said, let's push it off a little bit. So we did that, and we had 4 kids traveling with us. So obviously had to pull them out of school, but they didn't care.
I wouldn't care.
No. They didn't. And we had 3 different rooms at the Poly, and thanks to your magic, with that, we were all right next to each other in the hallway, which was wonderful.
That is great. So, okay, so let me ask you though about this, because a lot of folks they don't know what to expect, especially going with a group that large. And you've done it now at least twice. You had a group of 11, a group of 12. Not even like the trip once you got there, but what was the planning like? Because it's so hard to get that many people having the right expectation of even, okay, like when do you want to have dinner? Like, just like planning out, like what day do you want to go to the Magic Kingdom? Like, how was the planning? How was the communication pre-trip with everybody?
They pretty much said, you guys know what you're doing. You plan the trip. They said, whatever we want to do, we know. And they just let us run with it. They said, you know what restaurants are good? The only request that they had was Cinderella's royal table for the girls, because we had 2 that were 4 and 5. So that was a no-brainer for them. And then the one wanted to do 50s primetime because they remember that from the last trip.
Nice. One of my favorites. Good call. All right. So let's talk about travel down. When you got down there, you guys looks like you flew down on Southwest. That's my preferred airline. Lots of flights out of St. Louis, cheap. And the way my wife and daughters pack, it's a good thing 2 bags fly free, or I'd be a broke dad. Was travel down fine for everybody? It wasn't difficult.
It really wasn't. We had a minivan or a mini bus pick us all up from our house, because we all live within a block of each other. Nice. Which was easy this way. So we all met at 4:00 in the morning. The bus picked us up, drove out to the airport, and besides getting through security, it was easy.
So you guys staying in rooms next to each other at the Polynesian isn't that different than the real world because you live so close together. That's so funny. That's crazy. That's great. I love that. All right. So you guys get down there. How do you take the first day? Because I think that's kind of one of those things everybody worries about. Okay, well, we land, we got to get from we got to get our luggage, we got to get over to the resort, check in. How does that whole first day unfold? Because some people chill out, don't do anything, don't go to a park. What'd you guys do day one?
We hit the ground running.
There you go.
Which is the way we travel. We didn't know how everybody else was going to handle it, but it's the way we traveled. So we got to the Poly. The line for Magical Express was wrapped around the airport to where you actually get on the buses to Magical Express. It was actually wrapped around there is where we got in line. Oof. And then all through the queues. But after we got through that, we got to the Poly. My husband actually went in, checked us in to make sure we had somewhat connecting rooms. We were all linked together, checked our luggage with Bell Services, and then we grabbed lunch at Captain Cook's and got on the monorail and went over to Magic Kingdom.
But see, that is one of the advantages of either being on the monorail loop or being, say, like in a Skyliner resort where you can get to your hotel, take care of any of those things that you might want to. When you have 3 or 4 rooms together, it's always a good idea just to swing by the check-in desk and say, look, we're all here. Can we make sure, just because even if it's on the internal notes, sometimes I think Disney rushes to get everybody in a room as quick as possible. And they sometimes miss those internal notes. If you just tell them, hey, look, we're here. Just want to remind you, we got 3 rooms. Can you make sure we're all like connecting adjacent, whatever we have. They're like, oh yeah. And then, like you said, drop your bags, but being, where you're next to a theme park, like you could hop the monorail and bam, 5 minutes later, you're at the Magic Kingdom. Or if you're at Caribbean Beach, hop the Skyliner, you're at the studios, Epcot, what have you. Great idea. So you guys get there, luggage is dropped. I mean, Magic Kingdom is where you got to kick it all off, right? How'd it go?
Yes.
When you get there?
We got there that morning, actually in the airport, we purchased Genie Plus before we even got on the plane. Because our plane took off around 7:30. So we purchased it in the airport and booked our first ride before we even left Philly.
So what was your first ride that you picked?
I don't even remember.
Let's say it was Space Mountain. No, because it wasn't.
No, we actually didn't even hit that one because there was too many that didn't want to do that.
Oh, come on. No, just kidding. Let's say it was Peter Pan. No, I don't know what it
was. I know we hit Peter Pan, Small World, Haunted Mansion. We hit all the classics pretty much day one.
So that's a good job though, because day one you get in there, you get you're in vacation mode. You're in the Magic Kingdom. You're doing attractions. What was your initial thought though that first day with Genie Plus? Because I mean, obviously the first time you're using it, did you find the learning curve? Did you get the hang of it pretty quickly? Because that's a question I get by a lot of guests. There a lot of folks first time using it this next trip that they go down. What'd you think?
After a day of using it, it wasn't terrible. But it took some getting used to. It wasn't like the old Fast Pass system.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it's a little work compared to Fast Pass was more work like 60 days before the trip, where Genie Plus is work the day of you're going to take the experiences kind of thing.
And I think it was harder doing it for 12 people versus 2 or 4 for a small family.
That's 100% true. And I think everything is of that ilk when you're doing that. Okay, so how did you wrap up that day? You got your feet wet over at the Magic Kingdom. Did you stay until close, see the fireworks? You go back to the hotel? How'd that all go?
We closed out, had a lunch over at Cosmic Rays. We used mobile order, which was a challenge with that large of a group, but trying to teach everybody how to mobile order. But we worked it out and we had lunch there, and then we're back to the hotel little after dinner, and then called it an early night, hit the pool, unpacked, and I'll hit the next day bright and early. There was no sleeping in.
I like it. I don't like to sleep in either. But I'm also not one that stays out late. Some people have to stay out way late. I go to bed, relatively early. So let me ask you about the Polynesian though. We kind of talked about you were there. what was your overall impression with the rooms, the amenities? I mean, because I think every Disney fan really has this desire to stay there. What'd you think?
That was my third time staying there, I think. We got the renovated rooms from Moana, which were beautiful. There was a whole bunch of little hidden touches in there of Moana. They were subtle. So, I mean, it was very spacious. Love the hardwood floors compared to the carpeting. That's just
yeah. Pam Forrester loves that. She says it feels so much more clean.
It does. And I loved having the ground floor because we could walk right out and we're pretty much anywhere you wanted to go from either door.
Right.
Which was really nice. The pool, the kids absolutely loved the pool and the little splash pad for the younger ones. Although they even hit the big slide up too.
That pool. I mean, I know it's not Stormalong Bay, but that volcano feature pool at the Polynesian is awesome. And that slide is faster than it looks. It's like
it is.
Because I've been down there a few times. It'll catch you by surprise. You get spat out by that thing quick.
Yes. And actually our building was right in between two different pools. So we had our choice, and actually the quieter pool was usually empty and we had it to ourselves, which was great.
Now you're sounding like Scott Gardner. He's the world's biggest advocate for the quiet pools. And I'm like, no, the feature pools are where it is. You got all the fun stuff. He's like, no. You get the quiet pool. It's like having a private pool. I'm like, yeah, okay, I get it.
But they both had the 0 entry, which the kids thought was fun.
That's always fun. All right. So next day, you guys, it looks like you headed back to the Magic Kingdom and kind of cleaned up. Maybe just did some other stuff that morning.
Yep. We did pretty much whatever we didn't get done the first day there. And I believe some of them, not everybody, but some, that was our first day that we actually sort of split at the very end of the day, and some stayed for fireworks even.
Nice. So now, is this your first time seeing Disney's Enchantment?
Yes.
You're a Wishes fan. Obviously, you had seen Happily Ever After too, right?
Yes.
So give us your impression, like compare them. I mean, what'd you think? I know it's hard.
I actually watched it from the Poly Beach. So I didn't get the full view of it, I guess. But I'm still go to Wishes.
I hear you. Plus, I will say, to be fair, Happily Ever After and Enchantment, you really do need to see like the projections up close. Because I liked Enchantment, but I also watched it from like the partner statue. I was like right up on the castle, perfect spot. I think that's why I liked it so much, because I saw it the very first night, October 1st. People dogged on it. I liked it. I mean, it wasn't the greatest show ever. I'd rather have Happily Ever After, but I liked it. It was a good show. I'm not a huge fan of Harmonious, but it's again, give me back Illuminations. I'm sorry. I'm just I love that show. Anyway, I'm not going to do that again. I've done that on 50 shows already. So now let me ask you about this. It looks like you guys had dinner at the Plaza. Yes. I bet you so many people totally don't even remember that this restaurant exists in the Magic Kingdom. I love this restaurant, but I forget about it myself. So
it's a go-to.
It is the meatloaf. That's my go-to.
Everybody out of 12 of us, I don't think anybody got the same dish.
Oh, nice.
On the menu. So except for the end, all the kids, and then one of them, they got the Nickelodeon sundaes.
Sounds so good right now. You're right there. I'm sure the ice cream comes from the Plaza ice cream.
It does.
Next door. Oh my gosh. Now you're making me think I need an all-American sundae right now. I was like 6 months. I don't even know if I got one at Marathon. I didn't. Oh my gosh. So it was a hit though. I mean, the thing is, like, there's very few places you can eat where you can look at Cinderella Castle right out the window. There in Crystal Palace.
Yeah, it was. We had a table, and you looked right out the window where we were sitting, and you could see it.
Very cool.
And depending who was sitting where, if the cavalcades were coming by, you could actually see those too.
Nice. I love a restaurant where you can see all the kinetic energy of the theme park, going on around you. Like, you don't have to be in the middle of it, but you can see it all happening. Oh, yeah. And the food, the food's good too. So the summer, we're going back to the Plaza. You just sold me on that. All right. So the next day, it looks like you guys did the studios. Now the studios has a lot going on. I think the studios now, to be honest, I've been thinking about this over the last week with Genie Plus and all the factors we got with individual lightning lanes and, all the regular lightning lanes on Genie Plus and just how much there is happening with show times. And there's a lot happening at the studios. And it's really I think it's kind of the most difficult part to like navigate, to come up with a perfect plan to try to see everything in a timely fashion. Yes. Now you had a big group. So how did it go at that day over at the studios? Because there's a lot of different ways you can go.
We rope dropped and waited before the park even opened for Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. That was a to do, and that was a hit for them. Everybody loved it. It wasn't my first time on it, but we knew that was something we had to do. So we definitely waited in line for that, so we didn't have to pay for the individual lightning lane.
Good call. And that's a good one with a group. Like that's a great ride for a group of 12 because everybody can do it together. Like some rides like Slinky Dog, it's not really a great ride for 12. I mean, yes, you don't see each other, but like, you can see each other in the dancing scene in Mickey and Minnie's and laugh together. You can kind of have a group experience. I like that.
We had a whole car to ourselves.
Oh, nice. Very cool. Very cool. So how else did you go around that day? What else did you do?
Oh, we went over later in the afternoon. We hit up the droid building experience for the boys.
Now, tell us a little bit about that without spoiling it for anybody who hasn't done it. If there's anything, I'm cheap. I haven't done it yet. I want to make the lightsaber, but I'm too cheap. I got to do one.
I've only done the lightsaber building that's in the Tatooine Traders. Say the cheap one.
Yeah, same here. Once Upon a Toy at Disney Springs. Yeah, it was like $20 one.
We've done that one, but not the one that's going to cost you.
Yes.
But we did that. The two boys did that. We went in. They picked out all the pieces from this huge conveyor belt. They almost built identical droids.
That happens.
Yeah, but they went up to the station. They put them all together. The cast member activated them. I won't go into details as to how they did that in case so you don't ruin the magic. But they activated them, and then if you let them turned on, they would interact throughout Galaxy's Edge.
That's so cool. I love that kind of stuff. That is so cool. Do they still play with them at home now? I mean, is it something that that makes me happy because I want to get a lightsaber, but I mean, when I get it home, I want to get a lightsaber for a couple reasons. One, I want to take pictures with it in Galaxy's Edge. That'd be epic. And the other one, this is so dumb. I just want to walk on the plane carrying a lightsaber. Like, I mean, I can't carry a bunch of stuff, but I can walk onto an airplane carrying a lightsaber. Yeah, that'd be too cool. But I'm glad to hear that they're playing with it though, because you get a lightsaber home, what are you gonna do with it? I mean,
it
breaks in. Pop out
the droids go down the hallway in the house all the time.
That's awesome. So was Galaxy's Edge a hit with everybody? Did you guys do Smuggler's Run? Did you guys do Rise? Anything?
We did not. We didn't want to. Nobody wanted to pay for the individual lightning lane for that. They were sort of leaning on us because we did do that when we were there over the summer, and my daughter was scared to death of it. She cried through the whole thing. She's only 5, so
Smuggler's Run or Rise that scared her.
That was Rise.
Rise, yeah. It's intense. I mean, yeah, it's intense. Unless you're just a Star Wars nerd, they're like, "This is awesome."
Yeah.
You're like,
everybody else loved it.
Exactly. I could get it though. I mean, it's like it's close to you can never get to being in the movie. I mean, it's like you're getting chased.
So
cool.
But I think they went on Star Tours 4 times in a row.
See, now right there, that'd kill me. That I'd be dead one time I can't do it anymore. I want to, and I just motion sickness. I can't do simulators. So 4 times. Whew, iron stomach.
I don't know how they did it. I did not participate all 4 times.
I don't want to be the rebel spy that badly. No. I'd like to, but I can't. Well, let me ask you, you're over there you mentioned 50s primetime. Was it what everybody was hoping for? Because somebody
it was. That was somewhere in the mix of the day. I think it was. We did a lot of lunches because we weren't sure how everybody was going to handle the days with the kids. If they were going to say, "I'm done," and say, "I'm tired, I want to go back." Yeah. So we did a lot of lunches. That way we could at least eat together and then split if everybody wanted to split.
That, you know what, that's great advice. That I hope everybody kind of takes that to heart, because meals are a great time for everybody to come together, have that shared experience. And lunch is a good idea because the kids are probably going to hang in there so that everybody can all be together by lunchtime.
Yes.
By dinner time, I'm just telling you, I'm talking from a parent's point of view here. By dinner time, all bets are off at a theme park. I mean, because walk through Fantasyland at 2:00 in the afternoon at the Magic Kingdom. Kids are done, and then parents are done. Like, I mean, people just it gets ugly after about 2:00. So dinner time can be sketch. You might not make it till that dinner reservation. So I like the idea of the lunch, and then everybody, if you have to go, maybe somebody has to go back and swim, so has to go back and nap. We're going to keep going. And then we'll see you back at the hotel. That's great advice for folks that are thinking about going with a large group.
Yeah, that worked out well. We really didn't split up that much, though. I was surprised. I thought we were going to split up a lot more.
Well, you had the built-in safety net, so that's a good
but thing. I think everybody was relying on us to guide them around the parks because they didn't know what to do, where to go, what was a good ride.
But you know what? Here's another thing that I like about this plan. Sometimes you get too many cooks in the kitchen. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got too many people trying to all take control. And if you just trust the person who knows what's going on, everybody's better for that, I think. And I think it's hard for some people to give up the control. But if you just understand, like, this is like, you're in your lane at Walt Disney World. You know what's happening. You know the best strategies. Just trust you, and everybody's going to have a good time. And I think that's, if everybody's trying to do their own agendas and people are trying to go different ways and there's bickering and like conflicting goals and everything, that can be an issue. I'm glad that everybody kind of just, sometimes you got to be a leader. Sometimes you got to be a follower.
And, for whatever reason, they chose us to be the leaders. I guess because we go a couple times a year.
Yeah. I mean, because you have the experience and you have the passion. I mean, you made the spreadsheet, like, this is your thing. I mean, that's totally it. So, all right. Well, so you guys at least stayed till the end of the day. So how'd you close out the park?
I think we ate lunch we actually went back. No, we ate lunch at 50s. And then we went back to the hotel for dinner. We were back early that night. We all did everything that we wanted to do at Hollywood. Nobody wanted to see Galaxy's Edge at night. Oh. And which we've seen it at night, so we knew what it was. We enjoyed it, but
oh well, next time
we'll see it again. that was our theory. We were going what they wanted to do. If they had something they wanted to do, then that's what we did.
Good point. Yeah, don't fight it. That's another strategy. They say if they don't want to do it, hey, nope, that's fine. I'm not going to make you. It's cool, but I'm not going to make you. We're just going to go back and chill. We're going to have a good time. Okay. So the next day, it looks like you guys got up, headed over to Animal Kingdom. So give us some highlights from this day over to Animal Kingdom Park.
Yes. We did not do Genie Plus that day, which was a big mistake for a group of 12. We found out because halfway through the day, we were asked, are we going to skip the line for this ride? By lunchtime, everybody was asking, "Are we skipping the line?"
It's like once you have it, it's like when on my honeymoon, I got us a veranda for my wife. She'd never been on a cruise. I got us a balcony, and then on our next cruise, because that was our honeymoon, right? I was splurging. Yeah. Second cruise we went on as a married couple, we didn't get a balcony, and she was kind of mad. Like, "Where's the balcony?" I'm like, "Well, it's in our honeymoon." No, you can't go backwards. Like, once you have something like that, it's really hard to take it away. I get what you're saying. I know it could be a mutiny really quick.
But, we decided to wake up early again and start our day with Tusker House.
Nice.
The first character breakfast.
That's a good restaurant.
So the croissants were the hit there. Everybody loved the croissants.
It's good.
And then whether it was a good idea or not, we hit up the safari right afterwards.
Actually, you know what? I think that's a great first ride, especially after a big breakfast, because you probably don't want to do Everest or Dinosaur. Worst idea I ever did when I was first getting into Disney. We had my daughter, the one that's 25 now, when she was like 8, we brought her and her best friend. She was 8 too. We did Chef Mickey's for breakfast. And I mean, I gorged myself. I tore it up because, I was paying like $50 for it. I was like, I'm eating $50 worth of food. I ate so much food. Then we went to Animal Kingdom in July. It was so hot that morning. I had eaten probably 7 pounds of food. I'm not kidding you. I was trying to eat $50 worth of food. What did they want to ride? They want to ride Primeval Whirl. Spinning and going around and that thing. Oh man, that almost put me in the hospital. That was brutal. So yeah, I'd rather do a safari. I mean, you're bouncing around, but I drive a Jeep. It wouldn't bother me. It's just like riding at home. But yeah, you don't want to do anything too intense. Just see some giraffe. Good call. The safari though, I'm sure everybody enjoyed that.
Yes, they did. We did the safari. Some of us did Everest. Not everybody likes Everest. And then we saw kite tails.
What'd you think about that? Experienced Disney fan, because people people are saying this. The people who've seen it in person like it. The people who've only seen video make fun of it.
I loved it.
See, there you go. It proves it.
Yes. I think we saw, if I remember correctly, the Lion King one.
Okay.
But I don't remember all the time. I've seen them all now, so I don't know which one I saw that time.
All right, I'll have to give it a shot.
But yes, it was definitely worth the time. Wish there were shade in the stadium.
Yeah.
But
because that stadium was built for nighttime shows.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But definitely worth it.
Good tip. Okay, well, I want to make sure we get through all this. So that evening, it looks like you guys had dinner at Grand Floridian Cafe, one of my favorites. I love this place. How was it for you guys?
We loved it. That was, I think, the only restaurant there where we could not sit together, though. There was tables, but we were just not lucky enough to get one. We were close, but we just couldn't sit all at the same table. So they split us 6 and 6.
And to look at each other and pretend like you're talking about each other the whole time.
Yeah. It's more of a problem when the kids all want to sit with the grandparents.
Yeah, that's true. And the grandparents want to sit with the kids, and the parents are like, yes, please take the kids for another meal. That's great. Was there any kind of favorite dish that you had at Grand Floridian Cafe? I'm a big fan of the fried chicken.
That's what we had. Yes. There was multiple of those dishes served at that time.
It is big. I can't eat. I eat a lot, and I can't finish that. And I mean, there's very few dishes I can't finish.
And the kids' favorite dessert that time was the worms and dirt.
Yep. Oh, yep. Yeah. Mallory got that when we were down in August, and guess what? She didn't finish that, but I finished the worms and dirt. I have no shame. That was good.
I wasn't allowed to touch it.
Nope, I told her, I was like, I brought you down here, and I'm going to finish that off right now because I need something sweet before I go over to Gasparilla's and have a second dessert later on. We watch Happily Ever After. Yeah. It's I think, I don't know how you feel about it, but I think Grand Floridian Cafe kind of feels fancy, but it kind of feels comfortable at the same time. And
it does, yes. And we went out, and it was raining that day when we went over till that night. So we were there. We were drenched till we got over there. Oh. And we wouldn't have felt out of place no matter how wet we were.
Right. So. All right. So let's talk about the next day. You guys finally head over to Epcot. So how did Epcot go for you guys?
It was a good day. The youngest wanted to dress up like a princess that day. So she did. And that was her first experience meeting any princesses through World Showcase. So that was a fun day for her. Sweet. She did not get to ride Frozen though.
Oh, well, that's okay. Next time.
But we made a trip back for that purpose. So, but we toured all around, and of course, with food and wine going on, we hit up a lot of the food booths there.
Do you remember if you had a favorite, something that stood out?
I loved the Germany booth. It was a potatoes gratin. I don't know what it was. It was some sort of noodle ham dish.
Sold. That's all you got to tell me is potatoes au gratin and noodle ham.
It was better than the gray stuff.
Good. Yes, I'll take it. Now, let me ask you this, because you guys were down like towards the end of October, one of the busier times of the year. What did the crowds feel intense, or how was it late October for you guys?
It wasn't bad. I've been down. Right before COVID, I was down for the Wine and Dine weekends the 2 previous years, and I actually thought those were more crowded than what this was.
Okay, so it's really weird, like this year, because it seems really even as we're recording today, Chapek just came out with a earnings call for this, I think, second quarter. I don't keep track of all that stuff very closely, but he was talking about how there's still limitations on capacity at the parks. And I mean, there's some days where it seems really busy. I mean, like
It does.
there's no caps, but there still are caps. But it's really weird because some days it feels empty, some days it feels like, whoa, it's pre-COVID, crazy crowded. So it just depends. And I know late October is a really popular time to go because a lot of kids have like school breaks in that time, like fall breaks. That's a good time to travel. Let me ask you about this though. So 2 things I want to ask about your Epcot day.
Yeah.
You guys had dinner at Coral Reef.
Yes.
It's a sleeper restaurant at Epcot because I think a lot of people think World Showcase restaurants, Space 220 is getting a lot of talk. Garden Grill gets a lot of talk. I mean, before like they started working in Future World and they started rerouting, like you do walk past Coral Reef now, but before that, I don't think anybody even knew that place existed for like 10 years.
Yeah.
I've only eaten there once and I really enjoyed it, but it's been a decade. So what were your thoughts on that meal?
That's one that we actually hit up almost every trip that we're down there.
Really?
And we love it. We actually requested to sit down on the main level so we could sit as close to the tank as possible. Just with the kids, they loved watching the fish the entire time they ate.
Nice.
If you love fish, it's a great restaurant. Their steaks are, from what I don't eat the steaks there. I have my 2 staples that I get every time, but the steaks are okay. But the fish is supposedly delicious. I get my staples of a Caesar salad and the chocolate wave, no matter every time I go there.
That's your exact. When I find something I like, that's what I get until it's gone. I mean, I get that. I am a creature of habit too, so I totally get that. And it's got it's like a relaxing vibe in there with the the blues and the tank, and you could almost fall asleep while you're having dinner in there if you're not careful.
Yes.
It's very it reminds me of like old Epcot. Like if you want a little snapshot of old Epcot, there's a few places you can find. There's very few places you can find anymore because they're knocking them all down with like interventions and stuff. But that's one of the few. Go in there.
That is, yes.
Carpet walls still, I think. Crazy stuff. No, you also stayed for Harmonious, correct? Did you stay? No.
No, we did not. Nobody saw Harmonious that trip.
I didn't say anything. Mark safe from Harmonious. No, just kidding.
No, I did end up seeing it. I took a trip down, my husband and I, in December. So I saw it then, but that was my first time seeing it, but not this trip.
Okay, so let me just ask you, compare Harmonious to Illuminations. You're not going to hurt my feelings. This is a joke, right?
I will still go to Illuminations.
Okay, good answer.
Harmonious is good. I'm not going to lie. Harmonious is good, but I still like Illuminations.
Very good. Very good. Okay. So I want to get back to your last day before you had your like travel home day. You went back to the Magic Kingdom. This was your day that you were going to eat at Cinderella's Royal Table. Let me just ask you about Cinderella's Royal Table so we can make sure we get this in. Everybody, I think, should have this experience. Now, there's a lot of talk in the Disney community about is it overrated? Is it overpriced? And I would probably say, yes, it probably is overpriced if you're looking for a lot of stuff at Disney can be overpriced if you're looking at just like quantity of food, quality of food. But I think it's like you are eating in Cinderella Castle. You are eating in the dead center of the Magic Kingdom. And it's the stuff, like you said, of little girls' dreams. It's the stuff of Disney fans' dreams. It's the stuff of, just anybody that's a kid at heart. I think you want to have that experience. So did it live up to it? You guys were there, it looks like around lunchtime, early lunch.
Yes.
What were your thoughts on this whole experience?
We split up. All the girls went to Cinderella's Royal Table. All the guys went to Liberty Tree for lunch that day.
Yeah.
But the girls that morning before we even went to Magic Kingdom got their hair done up.
Very cool.
One of our traveling party does hair, so she came in, did all that for us, including all the glitter and pixie dust. So our hotel rooms and all of us looked like we saw Tinkerbell till we got there. But we got there, the girls were in awe walking up the staircase to the restaurant. So, I mean, they thought this was the greatest thing. I warned them that there was only Cinderella coming out. So they were aware of that expectation going into it. But yeah, I do agree that it wasn't is Disney pricing for their food and all that, but it's for the experience. Yes, it's for the little girls. It's definitely worth it.
Yeah, I mean,
once in a lifetime.
Right. It's one of those things, like, you're not going to do it every trip. I mean,
No.
but, Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, for example, is not available as of the day we're recording right now,
Yes.
but it has obviously been in the past, and I did it twice. I was only gonna do it once. We did it twice for Mallory, and now she's too old for it. Everything else is now she's into stuff that's way more expensive than Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, unfortunately, which I thought was expensive. But the thing is, like, that's another thing. You're not going to do every trip. You'll probably do it once. And that's the kind of stuff that you work a little extra, before the trip, or you save, or you sacrifice, like, you don't go out to eat a couple times for a couple weeks, and you put that money away and you give that experience to your daughter. Or, if your son wants to do something special down at Walt Disney World, same thing. Like, you just sacrifice somewhere here. I mean, it's what you do as a parent or a grandparent, or, for your significant other. And yeah, because the thing is, really, like, I mean, you kind of mentioned it, like, Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique really is nothing more than like getting your hair done, which you could probably get done at Great Clips, or, or a hairdresser here in St. Louis, and it would be 75% cheaper than what they're charging at Walt Disney World. But Walt Disney World's the whole, they're treating them like a princess. They're in this cool environment. They're getting, it's not just like, little sprinkles in there. It's pixie dust. And it's the whole, they'll talk about that experience for 10 years, rather than, oh, I got my hair done. It's all about perspective and experiences. I think a lot of times you just gotta, it hurts you, but you got to pay the money and let the memory get made. I think sometimes, it's not every day, I think, is how you got to see it.
We did that for the girls, and the boys got to do the droids in Hollywood Studios. That was how we worked it out. Trade-off.
That makes total sense. That's great. Okay, so last day, it looks like you guys went over to Disney Springs, did some exploring after. You guys had breakfast at Ohana. So tell us about, it's one of the hottest reservations going. So how was Ohana?
It was very good. We did it figuring as our last day, we could go there in the morning. I'll sleep in a little bit, maybe. And then pack our bags before we sort of split up to do what we wanted to do. Actually, I was the only one that went to Springs.
Really?
Because nobody else had a desire to shop.
It's better to not take them if they don't want to go, to be honest. Yeah, that's good.
So they were happier riding the ferry boat from the TTC to the Magic Kingdom.
Nothing wrong with
and
that.
Then they took the monorail over to the Grand Floridian again, walked around there, and then walked back over to the Poly and just sort of had a resort day.
Hey, you know what? That sounds really good, right? I'm not kidding. That sounds like a really good day on a Friday. I can do that today, right now. That's not wrong.
They did that before we even went over to Springs. It's a family tradition in our house that we go over to the Contemporary each trip, and we have pictures of the kids and us throughout the years at the silver Mickey head in the back.
Yes, that's more people should get their picture with that thing, because we should have done it every trip. We did it on a trip probably probably more than 10 years ago now, because it was one of the times we ate at Chef Mickey's, and we were just trying to like walk off breakfast because we were so full. So we were just walking around before we actually went into the park, before we went over to the Magic Kingdom. And it's such a cute little place to get your picture, because you can like sit up in the ears, and the parents can stand there. Yeah, that's a great if you don't know what we're talking about, there's a metallic like statue, like it's basically like a sculpture of Mickey. It's probably about 10 feet tall, maybe about 20 feet, 10 feet wide or so. It's really, really cute. And all you gotta do is go out the backside of the Contemporary, and it's right there, kind of on your way to the pool.
Yeah, really, by the sandbar.
Yeah, by the sandbar. Apparently they have really good burgers too, I've heard. I've never had one of those. It's another thing I gotta try. It's Walt Disney World, so many things I still haven't done. Got to get down and do it. So was there any good shopping to be had over at the Springs?
It was their basic, in being there so many times, it was their basic. We hit the World of Disney, and the line was way too long for Gideon's, so that didn't happen.
Same. Still 3 times haven't been able to get a cookie or a cake ever. Never going to get one.
I had it once.
I have crumble cookies sitting on the counter upstairs, so that's the best I can get. That's all I've got. Yes, that's about it. Okay, so that pretty much wrapped up your trip, and we're just about out of time. So any other like highlights or lessons learned that you could throw out there for folks that are traveling with a large group? Because you've done it now, and it sounds like it went well, which is it's a minor miracle sometimes, because with a lot of potential for things to go wrong, but also it's got a potential to make it really a trip where you're talking about it forever.
Yeah, it does. It worked out very well having one group or one person, in our case, our family, plan most of it. Because then everybody just sort of leaned on us and said, what do we do next? There was no arguing within the family for the most part. And we did do a grocery service delivery, which definitely helped out with a group of 12 of us. We all went together on that order, and that was a huge save for us.
So what kind of stuff did you get? Because I think that's another question that I get as a travel agent. Like, I may get groceries, but like, what kind of things can you suggest to have in the room? And I always say stuff like Pop-Tarts, Cheez-Its, just like little bags, like bags of chips, bottles of water, cans of soda, just because you don't want to have to walk to the food court. Was there anything that you guys got that really worked out well for you?
We always do the bottles of water. And then we did just fishy crackers was a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
Go-go squeeze applesauce pouches or something of that thing.
Yes.
Those, especially if you're traveling in the summer, those are wonderful.
Yes.
In the heat. Those seem to go over well. And then we don't travel with a whole lot of fresh fruit down there is something this is the first time we've done that. A lot of times we'll just get like little fruit cups, the prepackaged one, but we actually did fresh fruit since we had grocery delivery this time, which was another really nice thing to have.
Yep. And in the past, we've gotten those Capri Sun pouches and frozen them. And then in the summer, they melt in the backpack, and then you have like a cold drink in the morning. Yeah.
With the kids having so many kids meals, they had so much apple juice that we usually don't do those. That's
true. I remember back with the dining plan when you used to get a dessert with every meal. You got a dessert with dinner, but you also had dessert with lunch. Way back in the day, we just have those little, like cakes in a cup, like just piled into the backpack because everybody got one. Like Mallory got one, Paige got one, we got one, and we're like, we're so full, we can't eat it right now. We'll keep it as a snack. And then like day 5 of the trip, we're like, we got like 7 cakes in the backpack. Like somebody's got to eat a cake. I can't eat a cake.
This time it was Dole Whip every night.
Oh man, that's why you go to the Polynesian though. That's why.
Yep.
That's great. Well, hey, Nikki, I appreciate you taking the time to come on the show. It's been fun on a Friday, having a trip report, a little bit different, but I love it. And so what do you have on the horizon? Like what's next for your Disney trips?
If everything goes as planned, I think we'll be back down in July.
Ooh, heat.
That's probably 2 weeks.
Oh my gosh, that'll be awesome. That'll be great. Well, hey, I appreciate the time, and I hope you have a great weekend, and thanks for coming on the show.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Don't forget, today's show brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. We'd love to help you plan your next Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, or Adventures by Disney trip. It's very simple. Just drop by the magicforless.com today. Fill out that free, no obligation quote form, and an agent will get back to you right away. And we'll be planning that next trip together. And it's a lot of fun. Check them out today over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link, beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. It really does help us out. That one extra click means a lot. Please just bookmark it and use it as often as you can. beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And finally, thank you to our patrons. You guys help support the show each and every month. Couldn't do it without you. And our patrons get a bonus show called Mike in the Midwest every week. This week, we're talking about putt-putt memories. That's right. My memories of hanging out at the local putt-putt, which my grandpa knew the owners. So I had the run of the place. And you get a bonus story about my buddy who got drilled not once, twice by the Iron Mike pitching machine. It's a classic. But if you're a patron, you're getting that story at Ryan's expense. But if you want to join us, come on over. Patreon.com/BeOurGuestPodcast. Give me a follow on social media. I'm at BeOurGuestMike on Instagram and Twitter. Would love to talk to you this week. You can follow the show at BeOurGuestPod. Subscribe to the show on Facebook and YouTube to search for the Be Our Guest Podcast. And I think that's about it. No live show this Sunday night because there is something called the Super Bowl happening. And my dad will be producing the radio for the Rams. So if you're out in the Los Angeles area and you are a Rams fan, my dad will be pushing all the buttons for you right there so you can listen to the show. All right, we are going to be back again together on Monday where it's Pam and Ricky and myself, and we're asking the question, is this romantic? And having a good time. But until then, stay safe, stay healthy. For Nikki, I'm Mike, wishing you a great weekend. Happy Valentine's Day a bit early. We'll see you real soon. All right, thanks, Nikki. I appreciate it. That'll be out on Friday.
Thank you. Thank you. We'll see you later.
Thanks. I appreciate it. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
You too.